All right, another milestone day here in the history of Las Vegas and Major League Sports in Las Vegas. And I guess it is official, Matt. It's on the board behind us. The Las Vegas Raiders are here. Yes, we know they've been coming here, but we have not seen the name in that font and in that gray, the historic gray of the Raiders brand. The Las Vegas Raiders are here, so we're here at Ground Zero for Allegiant Stadium, where Steve Sisolak and Mark Davis and everybody came out and said, yep, we're turning the page. It's the Las Vegas Raiders, Matt. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess they decided the March deadline, or whatever you want to call it. The league year flips over in March, and that's when everybody anticipated. That's what the NFL told them, is that they can't use the name Las Vegas until the start of the new league year. But the commissioner came out the other day and said officially Las Vegas Raiders, and here we are today for this amazing naming ceremony. Just like you mentioned, to see Las Vegas on there, it's still extremely surreal. Not just from an NFL perspective, but as a fan, somebody who's been watching the Raiders his entire life, to see the city that we were both born and raised in attached to an NFL franchise, and one that, again, that I happen to follow my whole life. It's pretty incredible to see. You finally saw the current players show up, right? I mean, we've had little pieces here and there, but
first public appearance by them as members of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Right, and it's generally been a lot of the alumni that have been around, which is great, and they've done their part in the community already. This team has been so fantastic with the community. But now, yesterday you had at one of the elementary schools, you had Alec Ingold and Darren Waller there handing out lunches for the kids. You had Derek Carr here today along with those guys. Abram, Trent Brown, Mo Hurst. I mean, these are guys that are, some Pro Bowl players out here that are now part of the Las Vegas Raiders making their appearance. Amazing scene. You see the backdrop there. You have Allegiant Stadium behind us, which is, if you haven't been by it lately, the black glass, the reflection, everything about it is amazing. And then you have Las Vegas Raiders in the foreground, and it's, man, it just keeps getting better every day, doesn't it?
Yeah, really quick about the stadium. Again, if you're on the 15, right, traveling north or south, you're going to see that black facade. But we're able to see from this kind of vantage point the inside, kind of more into the innards, and we're seeing all the ramps in there. And we heard, or I was told, that the Al Davis torch, that's almost completed. It's the largest 3D printing of some sort of object of its size, or biggest printing in the world. We've known it's been coming, but again, it's just becoming more and more real, and I just loved having the players come out here as representatives of the Las Vegas Raiders, and the genuine excitement, and Derek Carr's face lighting up, and Darren Waller's face lighting up, and Trent Brown, and all the guys that were here, brought out here. If we've seen the Raiders kind of ingrain themselves in the community a lot up to this point, it's just, I feel like it's, now that the page has officially been turned, like it's just going to be more and more and more, and that's really cool.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, if you've never been to the Coliseum in Oakland, it's bad. Let's put it mildly. It's bad. It's one of the older stadiums in the NFL. It was built as a dual-purpose stadium for both football and baseball. Sightlines aren't great. If you're on the 50, on the dugout side of the stadium, you're extremely far away. The practice facility got a major upgrade about 5 years ago when Jack Del Rio was there, so it got better, but it's still subpar compared to what a lot of these NFL teams have. And these guys got to tour the practice facility out there in Henderson by the executive airport. Toured that yesterday or today, I believe, and are just in awe of what they're looking at. Derek Carr said it. We're getting the best facilities in the NFL now. They're literally going from probably the worst facilities in football to maybe the best, along with the Dallas Cowboys and the soon-to-be LA Rams and Chargers and their new Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi or whatever the hell it's called stadium. But this thing is going to be incredible, and to make that jump from that stadium to this stadium is, I mean, it's second to none for these guys, and I think you're going to see the benefits of that really quickly.
Yeah, Derek Carr talked about it here again in some media availability. Matt got a great angle on that interview. I'm sure you'll post it up to YouTube.
Yes.
But Carr saying clearly he's excited to not play on a baseball field. He says the Coliseum has left reminders all up and down his forearms. He was showing us the scars on his arm. So we'll always have that reminder. Yeah. But now that he's in Las Vegas, he's very happy. I keep looking behind me because Jim Plunkett's doing interviews, and we might have Jim Plunkett join us for a Facebook Live, which is just, that's unreal to even say that too as well.
Las Vegas Raiders, man. I mean, and this is the thing. We've seen it with the Golden Knights. We've been around them enough in the last few years to understand how often they're out there. I mean, you see these guys all over the place. When they have big events that go on, the Golden Knights show up, and it's fun to see them interact with the fans and to be part of the community. And that's on a much smaller scale than what you get from the NFL. First of all, the league itself. Obviously, the NFL is the juggernaut. It's, and NHL is number 4, NFL is number 1, and they're number 1 by a mile. So to get that into this community now, you have a 53 player roster. It's not just the 20 guys you have on the Golden Knights. Everything about it is going to be bigger. It's only going to be better if they win as far as the fan base is concerned. You have to win. You can't come out here and lay an egg. Golden Knights have been able to do that consistently since day one. We'll see what the Raiders can do when they get here.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Matt. That's how long it's been. That's Matt. I'm Jon.
Yes.
We haven't done one of these in a while. I was going to say we're Sports Adrenaline in Las Vegas. It's been a minute since we've done something like this, and I wanted to mention to you, again, that family essence of the Raiders. And I know there's so many of you out there, and if you're watching, clearly thank you. We appreciate it. There's so many haters out there just about the Raiders and the tone of what the brand is. But Matt's been around it his whole life. I've been around it for a fairly long time as a media member. The sense of family and community around this organization, talking to people around the league in the NFL and people that have worked in the NFL and they're now outside of it, the Raiders operate differently, and that's in a good way. It's just they amp things up, and there's that community aspect that other teams don't portray. And I've been told this, again, by former executives in the NFL. So the more that you may think down on this team, the more you should understand how they're feeding into the uniqueness of this amazing city and how they're really fitting in with what we have here. And that is Las Vegas is an amazing gem, and only the Raiders could really be a team that could form the mold. I mean, and we've discussed this before. Imagine the Jacksonville Jaguars coming in here. I mean, what kind of momentum would that have? It just doesn't have it
there. Right, there's no tradition with a team like the Jaguars, even the Chargers. I mean, I think a team like the Chargers.
Not even fans either.
Yeah, unfortunately, but at least that's regionally they're close, right? If the Chargers were to come here, maybe it could have worked. But to the degree that the Raiders are going to work, probably not. This team, you mentioned the family aspect of it and what you've heard through other people. This team embraces their alumni and their family probably better than any team in the NFL, maybe in sports. You always, at every event that the Raiders put on, you see alumni like this around all the time. We had Wisniewski here, Plunkett's here, McCallum's here. There are always guys running around this organization that have been with them for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That's just the sense of family and community that this franchise likes to put out there. Despite the chaos of the fan base and the Raider Nation and all the craziness that goes along with that, it's a good time. It's a lot of fun. This team embraces everybody that's part of their family.
I'm still looking back because Plunkett's back there. He's taking pictures. He's done
Plunkett
with media.
Has signed every single thing that has been put in front of him for the last. How long have we been done here?
Almost an hour.
Close to an hour, and I'd say a good 40 minutes. He has been signing everything that's been put in front of him, taking a picture with every single fan that was out here. You'll see it if you haven't already. There was a bunch of construction crew out here from, they just got done at 2:30 with their shift, and they came out and hung out for this announcement and got to get autographs and pictures, and these guys have stayed around and done their part as players and former players.
Let's talk about the draft really quick. We'll come back here just in case Jim joins us. But all the draft plans were announced yesterday. You called it. You figured the Link Pavilion would be a perfect spot, and I agreed with you at the time. Yeah. So the Link and everything that's kind of east of the Link, right, just that big empty lot there, that's going to be kind of the central stage for everything. The Bellagio fountains will be the red carpet where players will come out and be introduced. They won't be picked on the red carpet out there at the Bellagio, although there was a little confusion with that. I kind of jumped on that bandwagon a little bit, but they're using the fountains like I said that they needed to, which was phenomenal. But the number that was thrown out was 600,000. They don't know if they'll get there, but it's going to be bigger than New Year's. You're talking 400, 450,000, maybe even 500,000 people here for that draft week.
Bigger. Nashville had about 600,000, and that's over the course of the entire weekend. It's not a one-night thing. Where's he going? It's not a one-night thing like you get at New Year's, but it's over the course of the entire weekend, starting with Thursday, the first day of the draft, all the way through the weekend. So I anticipate at least that number. I don't see why. This city holds a million times more people than any other city when it comes to these big events, the hotels, the accessibility. I can't imagine there not being at least the Nashville number coming into the city for this.
I feel like I can Airbnb a room in my house and maybe make a few dollars. That's probably going to happen. That's probably going to happen out here. Some parts of Nevada, it is legal. All right, so the Raiders are now the Las Vegas Raiders, at least not everywhere except officially on the NFL books, and then that's going to happen in March. March 18th is the date. I was hoping we'd see some sort of like apparel announcement, right? Because things will start to be able to go on sale. They've got to be sold before the draft,
You may
right?
have missed the question because when Mark Davis
Sea
came
of
down,
humanity.
it was chaos around him. I got close enough, fortunately, I was right there. Somebody asked him about apparel. He said there will be apparel at the draft.
Gotta
We will
be.
have. We will have. I guess that's when they're going to unveil it. Is during the draft. We're going to have Las Vegas Raiders merchandise ready to go. So, yeah, I know a handful of people out there that are going to be emptying their bank accounts for the Las Vegas Raiders gear. So.
Yeah, a lot of notes. I didn't hear Darren Waller's interview. I don't know if you were in on that,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
going back to Derek Carr, somebody asked him, actually, it was Paul Gutierrez of ESPN, asked Derek Carr about getting on board with UNLV football. And he's not a UNLV guy. He's a Fresno State guy, Mountain West rival. And he said the right things. Derek wants to get more involved with the UNLV football program. He said Coach Arroyo is his guy. I don't know where that relationship goes. So he's a fan of Coach Arroyo. So maybe we see Derek Carr get a little involved in the local. I feel like he should a little bit, right? They're sharing the same stadium. But he said he was going to be. He said he was going to be a supporter of UNLV football as long as they're not playing Fresno State, which I'm on board. I mean, that's that's most games out of the year, right?
Absolutely.
Except for one, and it's every other year or whenever they're going to play Fresno.
He can't go against his alumni. There's no way that's going to happen, right?
But does he? I don't want to say recruit, like full-on recruit, but if he knows Coach Arroyo a little bit, maybe he's showing up at the facility and firing up the UNLV football players.
I don't know, man.
No.
If you're,
they would riot. They would riot. You're right.
They would Bulldog. I don't think you're trying to get anybody
program's
to go
not
to
that
UNLV.
big, right? I don't know.
It's still his program.
Yeah,
But I mean, you know what? Good for him though to right away. First day as a Las Vegas Raider to officially show his support for UNLV, and that's what they need. I mean, I think there's a lot of with everything going on with the stadium. I think people feel like UNLV is getting kicked around a little bit. Obviously, they're kind of just the tenant here when it comes to this thing. We all get that. The stadium wouldn't have been done if it wasn't for the Raiders, but it wouldn't have been done if it wasn't for the city of Las Vegas as well. So it's kind of twofold. We'll see which direction that goes in. I think eventually things will get worked out. I can't imagine the organization ultimately going, you know what, we don't care about UNLV at all, and we want nothing to do with them in our building.
It's UNLV dropped the ball at some point, which is not surprising to me, and to a large extent. And I could go on and on about that, but something got missed, and I could understand that could happen. So, if it's not in the contract, I mean, you don't really have to honor it. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So that, I guess that's all I'll say. I feel like I already said too much.
Well, and that's what it comes down to. That these contracts are, a book thick, and it's very wordy, I guess, to put it mildly. These things are very wordy and get extremely convoluted, and if you're not dotting every I and crossing every T, you're going to miss something. And it seems like a bit of a loophole, but at the same time, you need that language in there specifically, and it doesn't sound like it was in there when it comes to the non-conference games for this first season.
Okay, so a great day here in Vegas. We're getting there, and it feels more and more real as we inch closer, and we're talking about the draft, and we're talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. And boy, now I feel like going on a Knights tangent saying, what the hell with Pete DeBoer? I feel like doing that, but then we'd be standing here for another 45 minutes. I will say something really quick. The jury's still out for me. I mean, and I'm sure it's out for a lot of you guys. We're not going to see this hockey team play for over a week with the bye. So I'm like, I still feel like I've been hit by a train a little bit. How do you feel? Short answer.
I think I was more surprised that it was DeBoer coming in than it was Gallant going out. It's unfortunate. I don't think he was the problem with the team. This team's defense has been terrible. Their goaltending has been subpar, and they're not able to finish at the net, which is, it's been a problem for the last two seasons. But, I think McCrimmon and McPhee wanted to light a fire under this team, and who better to do that than public enemy number one? Bring him in, and this is kind of his MO. He comes in, he changes things around in a hurry, and gets his team to a cup. And, it's only been a couple of games. They're on the road. They haven't had any time at home yet. We'll see what happens.
If you're not making it to a Stanley Cup final or a Western Conference final, I think it's a failure.
What's the point, right?
Yeah.
Why bother playing?
That'll be revisited. We'll do another Facebook Live at some point. We'll do the split screen deal.
I like
we
that.
could do that. All right. That's Matt. I'm John. We're Sports Adrenaline Las Vegas, and we're still here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.